Well, speaking of another Lefty Louie, a crazy person, we have some. I hate talking about this person, but AOC back in the news, getting crazier by the day.
Yeah.
I mean, like she's been in the news cycle, which maybe this is what she wants, but I mean, every day it gets she gets crazier and crazier, and uh, you're starting to see like how I think she probably got elected.
Right.
You know?
Or, it's just, everything about her just kind of rings hollow after, especially this. Um, for those of you who haven't heard, occasional cortex is being accused of misappropriating campaign funds.
Yeah,
And
and this isn't some simple campaign finance slap on the wrist violation. This is a pretty hefty crime that could, if
yeah,
convicted, like jail time.
this could be fraud and telecommunications charges. Yeah, it's not a small thing. It's like the amount was like almost $1 million. So
Yeah,
it's not like it's not like it's a simple accounting error. This is misappropriating money that was supposed to go to her campaign, but was put into a separate account that which she also controls. And there's I think what it was is that money was supposed to go towards some sort of consulting firm.
well,
I don't
yeah, well,
I don't know.
what
Yeah, I
sounds
don't like.
it,
Yeah,
it
and
was something
it
like
was
that.
run by, and everything was like handled by her chief of staff. And
But
yeah, it was
this comes
supposed.
off the back of a bunch of some other allegations that were made against her, where she was using some of the campaign finances to like give her boyfriend money, and then there was
Oh,
talk of like certain people on her staff who her high level staffers who are um, they're being paid like less, so they don't have to report like some of the funding that they're getting from other sources. So so they can have all these outside sources of income without having to report anything.
right.
And there's some strong smoke to that fire.
Hmm.
So so it's not just this one thing that's like, oh, oh, you can maybe play dumb, but we're starting to see like two or three things where like, wow, they're playing a little fast and loose with the money and doing it's a bunch of different shady stuff all together. And something tells me that this is part of how she probably got elected.
I wouldn't be surprised. The only thing I'm surprised about this whole thing is, how quickly it's all coming out. Because I kind of expected her to have a a long-ish career being a public servant or what have you, and it eventually coming out, that she was playing fast and loose and misappropriating funds and things like that. But like after a long again a long-ish career, but the fact that it happened mere months after she was sworn in is is a little bit surprising for me, to be honest.
I and well, we know the left eats its own. I think she probably, I don't know if she's because she pissed off Nancy Pelosi, or she made the Democrats look like a bunch of buffoons for with the Green New Deal stuff, um, or who knows who she pissed off, or if it was
Well,
somebody
I
from
mean,
our side that found out what was going on.
right. I think even like some people were saying like the sources for these accusations come from right wing news outlets or something, and so like they for that reason alone they should be dismissed or not taken seriously. But I mean, like you said, I think there is some smoke to this. There is fire to this smoke.
I would think so. And the thing is, like, she represents her generation very well.
Mm-hmm.
Just a complete, doesn't know anything, but is sanctimonious about it. And the other problem is that I think she's a very shrewd politician. I think she knows
Well, she
a
got a
lot
really
of
good
things.
education. We know that. So
Uh, It's I don't know, she's both an ignoramus that is kind of she. So I don't know. Like, is she just gonna play dumb and say like, "Oh, well, I didn't know that this was going on," and blah blah blah, or is she the one that's kind of the mastermind behind all of it, or if it's a little bit of a mixture of both? Who knows?
or yeah. So I mean, she could have said, "Do this thing, but make sure there's enough, plausible deniability on me."
Yeah, exactly.
And so I mean, I can see her doing that. But I mean, really quickly, just to touch upon you saying that she's the perfect representative for her generation. I would recommend you and the other viewers to watch uh, a series of videos. It's not even a series. It's like right now it's just two by a YouTube creator that I've been following for quite some time. Who goes by Blond in the Belly of the Beast, and she does a really good kind of breakdown of this entitled millennial woman thing. And she
Hmm.
does she does she covers Cortez, but she also covers this other woman. She kind of made a big. I forget what her name is, but she made like this big splash within like the tech industry. She basically, she basically started a company to create this some sort of medical device. I think it was like to test like blood sugar or something.
Okay.
But through her, I mean, she feminine wiles, but she's not even that attractive. Through her feminine wiles and like her kind of physical charisma, she was able to dupe all these people into investing billions of dollars into her company. But she didn't even have like an actual like prototype or wasn't in any sort of actual production with this device that she supposedly uh, was building.
Oh, so she's a con artist. Okay.
A little bit, yeah, but it's like again, it was just like if watch, I think you should watch the videos. I think I will link them in the bottom when this stream
Okay.
archives. I think I'll link them in the description. But they're really good videos, and they talk about exactly the kind of uh, coddling uh, and encouragement women, especially millennial women, get. Like, oh, you should get this thing just because you're you, or kind of like unearned esteem. It's like he's like, don't let anyone tell you you can't do anything. You just go out and do it and make it happen. But it's just like you know without any like real like kind of backing. you know and so yeah, I wish I could remember that first example that she gives. But yeah, I did remember the name of the company. Maybe that'll jog some memories. But Ethereum,
Oh, I do remember hearing a little bit about that.
yeah. But yeah, this YouTuber Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, she does a really good job of like breaking it down and just like kind of analyzing and critiquing the kind of unearned sense of entitlement that especially millennial women are kind of indoctrinated with nowadays.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, as you and kind of bringing it back to what you said about Cortez, how she's the perfect representative of her generation. It's like she was a woman who was raised on to believe that she couldn't fail, and that if she does fail, that it's because it's someone else's fault, not her own.
Yeah, and well, so you see, like when she screams and whines and bitches when she has anyone that questions her ideas. I mean, when uh, when the Green Deal is getting criticized, and rightfully so, from both parties, by the way, were
Right.
criticizing this thing. Um, and she's like, well, no one else is coming out with this great idea, and you know what? And until that happens, like I'm the boss. It's like, are you fucking sanctimonious
So
piece of crap?
you're not queen of America. You're just a
You're a
congresswoman.
low-level congressperson. Like, let's back the truck up a second, all right? Like, I mean, really.
I know, because she's definitely pissing. We do have a message group with some of our friends, and we were talking about this
Yeah.
today. And when the news came out that that she might be that she might have committed some campaign finance laws. I immediately I was like, oh, I was kind of curious as why this was happening, and one of our friends mentioned like, oh, um, she's probably pissing off people, within the Democratic Party, and then thinking about it, I was like, yeah, that's kind of true because, I think sometime last week there was a video that came out where this group of indoctrinated women and young children went and
I was just
stormed
gonna
the
say that, talk about that. Yeah.
right. They stormed the offices of Dianne Feinstein, and I will admit I did not vote for Dianne Feinstein, and I didn't vote for
Nor
the
will I
other
ever vote for
Democratic nominee in the midterm election. But then in the video, these children are confronting Dianne Feinstein and like kind of berating her, telling her, "Oh, you have to sign off on the Green New Deal. It's our future. We are the future. These little kids are kind of spouting off the things that they've been brainwashed to say by their liberal teachers. It's like, oh, we're the generation that has to live with all the decisions that you make. So you better make the right decision and endorse this Green New Deal. And then Dianne Feinstein is like not having any of it. It's like just like piss off, peasants.
when you make me applaud someone like Dianne Feinstein, you've done something. Because I mean,
Right, exactly.
because everything that
I saw that video and I was like, I can't believe it that I'm cheering on Dianne Feinstein, the gun grabber herself.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It's like, how, first of all, like, because everything that she said was right.
Yes, it was. Like even it's like, hey, I've been doing this for a long time. I know what I'm doing. I ran a successful campaign and I won by this many votes. So I think people trust me to take care of things. So why don't you guys take put some faith in me also and trust that I'll be looking out for your interest. And then of course like some smart ass like kid, literally a kid says like, well, that we voted for you, and then smartly, Dianne Feinstein, seeing as this girl still still had the rapper still on her, asked her how old she was, and she said 17. It's like, well, you couldn't have voted for me because you're not old enough. So like, be gone,
Like,
peasant.
none of those were her constituents, because none of them voted for her because they're not old enough. They're like, they were from like
Exactly.
preteen to tweens, and it was just a bunch of and I almost don't blame them because of this doomsday cult that Chicken Little Cortez herself and Al Gore and all these jackasses that are saying that.
Right.
Listen,
I mean,
I
ladies.
care about the environment too. I don't think that we should dump toxic waste into the oceans or rivers, or throw our trash outside of wherever the hell we want, or take shits everywhere. But at the same time, there's other, without thinking like, oh, in 12 years, the planet will be just this husk of. It's like, no, it's not. Yeah, this is what every doomsday cult it does. They predict the end of the world, and it, like, this is the date, this is the time, and if we have to do all this stuff, give me your money, or yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. This is why I call bullshit.
Right. I mean, okay. Let's put it into perspective. The Mayans, they had a date and time, and I will give all credit to them because they built some of like the most the grandest and greatest pyramids or structures in the world. All right, I totally grant them that.
Pyramids.
What?
They're human sacrifice pyramids.
Yeah, they're human sacrifice pyramids. They were meticulously built. I'll give them that. But they too had a date when the world was supposed to end, and we're over it by about 7 years. Al Gore had that movie, had that movie, Inconvenient Truth, and he had some timelines too. And again, at least the one that stuck out to me the most was Florida was supposed to be underwater, and you know how over the deadline we are on that? 6 years. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have a time, if you calculate a date for the end of the world. All right, because all these other people had dates and timelines too, but we're still here.